Our little group was greeted at the Cairo airport by our bus and our tour guide, Hisham El Sayed. And due to the small size of our group, we were paired up with a middle school tour group from Hawaii. And off we went. We spent the next 8 days visiting all of the standard tour sites that one might expect to visit on a tour to Egypt. Pyramids, the Sphinx, camel rides. All along the way, Hisham was there to explain everything.
How would the spirit climb up to the sky? By using the steps of the pyramid edifices, the ladders to the heaven. And that explains why they used to build these pyramids. Remember that nowadays in Egypt...
Also unforgettable was a cruise up the Nile River, with regular dockings that took us to more temples and more historical sites. Egypt, thanks to the Nile and its ability to supply water in the desert for drinking and for farming, as well as its ability to supply transportation, became the cradle of civilization on the African continent. The river allowed people to settle into towns and cities and begin to develop art, architecture, governments, trade, even taxes, all under the watchful eyes of the kings, queens, governors, and pharaohs. Pharaohs were seen as the link between earthly things and the gods. In fact, the pyramids and temples were instrumental in assuring a good afterlife. The great monuments that these people built in the names of their gods were so impressive that even up to 4,000 years later, we can still appreciate their splendor. The Great Pyramid of Giza is so impressive that it actually held the record of being the tallest building in the world for 3,800 years. It was finally surpassed in 1889 by the Eiffel Tower in Paris. Even if surpassed in height, the monuments of Egypt still stand as impressive by any measure. Such a culture certainly deserves attention and great respect. While we originally went to see the artifacts of an ancient civilization, our group soon came to realize that culture did not end in this region with the fall of Egypt to the Romans around 2,000 years ago. For example, we visited the Saladin Citadel of Cairo, a fortification created 830 years ago to protect Egypt from invasion by the Crusaders. There, we visited the Mosque of Muhammad al-Pasha, built 180 years ago to serve the religious needs of the people. Islam had come to Egypt by the year 642. Today, 90% of the population of Egypt is Muslim. Most of the non-Muslim Egyptians are Christians. Mosques and Coptic Christian churches are present seemingly everywhere, from the largest cities to the tiniest hamlets. It was so beautiful to hear the call to prayer 5 times a day throughout our stay in Egypt. Tradition is vitally important to the current people of Egypt. Many millions pass on traditions that go back 1,000 generations. Our tour bus passed through a people leading a life that harkens back over the last 4,000 years. Fields of sugarcane, date palms, pomegranates, and almonds are irrigated by the ancient waters of the Nile and are tended to by farmers, many of which are still using the same techniques their great-great-great-grandfathers used. Horse carts laden with supplies share the roads with cars and trucks. Marketplaces founded thousands of years ago continue to be filled with vendors hawking their wares of foods, clothing, and beautiful handmade brass and alabaster treasures. Young people are proud to learn and pass on the artistic traditions of their forebears. And yet also present were the influences of the Western culture that we find so familiar, from Coke and Pepsi and Pizza Huts to satellite dishes on nearly every home. Egypt is truly a land of juxtapositions, but it is also a land of friendly and good people with welcoming smiles. Our trip was a reminder that we all of us in humanity, are neighbors. Ultimately, we all have similar needs and goals. We all have to work to provide, yet we also all enjoy the chance to relax with good friends and enjoy the opportunity to share our art and accomplishments and lives with others.